Hello, Cooey. Welcome, 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 my friends. Now, first off, I was thinking, what am I going to say? I was going to say something, and I know what it is. I'm sitting a little bit further forward in my chair tonight, and I will tell you for why. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't it cool? It matches the wall and everything. This is a lovely, lovely cushion, which was a gift, thank you, from Patty and from Paul. Thank you very much, Patty and Paul, for this lovely, lovely cushion. It's ace, and I'm not joking, it's really, really comfy. Makes it really nice to wiggle down into. And another thing, which relates to Patty, it's Patty's birthday. Happy birthday, Patty. Isn't that great? And another thing, may I raise a Christmas cocktail to Patty and to Paul and to all of you guys. Cheers. Ooh, that's luxurious. I do feel spoiled. Now then, enough of that. The reason why we're all here is to keep on going with Nutcracker and the Mouse King. And that Nutcracker has defeated the Mouse King and he's given Mary all 7 of the Mouse King's crowns. Fabulous. And he's now saying, come with me to the toy kingdom. So let's go with Mary and with Nutcracker, the victor, to the toy kingdom. Chapter 12. None of you children, I believe, would have hesitated about following the noble, good-hearted Nutcracker, who had no harm in his thoughts. Mary consented the more willingly, as she knew well what a great claim she had upon Nutcracker's gratitude, and felt that he would keep his word, and would show her some splendid things. So she answered, I will go with you, Herr Drosselmeyer, but it must not be for or for long, as I have not slept nearly enough. On that account, replied Nutcracker, I take the nearest way, though a somewhat difficult one. Forward he strode, and Mary after him, till he stopped before a great old clothes press standing on the floor. That's like I think it's like a big old case where they used to put clothes to dry. And sometimes in Ireland, people also call the airing cupboard the press. Just saying. To Mary's astonishment, Mary perceived that the door of this usually locked-up press was open, so that she quite plainly saw her father's fur travelling cloak, which hung right in front. Nutcracker cleverly climbed up the braidings and the trimmings of it, till he could catch hold of the big tassel dangling by a thick cord on the back of the fur. As soon as he had given this tassel a long pull, through the sleeves of the cloak came down an elegant cedarwood staircase. Will you please go up here, my dearest young lady? Said Nutcracker. Mary did so. Then scarcely had she mounted, through the sleeves, scarcely got up to the collar, when a dazzling light streamed into her eyes, and all at once she found herself on a delightfully scented meadow, from which rose millions of sparks like gleaming gems, like this. Fabulous. We are now on Sugar Candy Meadow, said Nutcracker, but will at once pass through that gate. Now as Mary looked, she was aware of a beautiful gate which rose on the meadow only a few steps before them. It seemed to be all built of white marble, dotted with brown and raisin-coloured patches. But, upon coming nearer, Mary saw clearly that the whole mass consisted of almonds and raisins baked together in sugar, for which reason, Nutcracker informed her, the gate they were about to pass through was named the Almond and Raisin Gate. Common people vulgarly called it the Schoolboy Grub Gate. In a covered passage leading out from this gate, apparently built of boilie sugar, 6 little monkeys dressed in red jackets were making the most beautiful music from cymbals and triangles that was ever heard. so that Mary scarcely noticed how she advanced on the marble flags, which were nothing else than an elegantly polished mosaic of sugar plums. Crikey, sounds like she's walking on sweets. Soon rose about them a very sweet smell, given forth by a wonderful wood that opened out on both sides. In the shady glade was such a bright sparkling and glittering that it could plainly be seen how gold and silver fruit hung on the brightly coloured stems, and how trunks and branches were all adorned with ribbons and nosegays. I'm going to say that they're ornaments, I'm not entirely sure. Hung about with ribbons and nosegays, like the guests at a joyful wedding party. And when the scent of oranges stirred as a rising breeze, there was a whispering through the leaves and twigs, and the tinsel rustled and rattled, so that it all sounded like merry music, to the tune of which the shining little lamps kept hopping and dancing. "Ah, how lovely it is here!" cried Mary, whilst enraptured with pleasure. "We are in Christmas Tree Wood, dear miss," said Nutcracker. "Oh," went on Mary, "if only I might stay here a little. Oh, it is so beautiful." Nutcracker clapped his little hands, and forthwith came up some small shepherds and shepherdesses, hunters and huntresses, who looked so frail and white that one could believe them made of pure sugar. But Mary, though they were wandering through the wood, had not yet noticed them. They brought out the dearest little armchair, all made of gold, laid a cushion of licorice upon it, and very politely invited Mary to sit down. As soon as she'd done so, the shepherds and shepherdesses performed a very graceful dance, for which the hunters blew a tune in quite correct style, and then they all disappeared into the underwood. Probably ran in. Can you imagine? You can imagine them sort of running across the fields on the wallpaper. Handmade cushion. I quite like that thought. "You will excuse them, most worthy Miss Stalbaum," said Nutcracker. "You will excuse their dance going off so badly, but these people all work upon strings, and must always keep on doing the same thing. And if the hunters played so sleepily and flat, there are reasons also for that. The sugar basket was indeed hanging over their heads in the Christmas tree, but rather out of their reach. Shall we not now go on a little farther?" "Oh, but it was also very pretty, and it pleased me so very, very much," said Mary, as she got up and followed Nutcracker, going on in front. Their course lay along a sweet, rippling purling brook, out of which seemed to rise a rich odour that filled the whole wood. "This is the Orange Brook," said Nutcracker in answer to her inquiry. "Yet, apart from its fine scent, it is nothing for size and beauty to the Lemonade River, that likewise falls into Coconut Milk Sea." Well, I never. In fact, Mary soon caught a stronger sound of rushing and dashing, and came in sight of the broad Lemonade River, whose noble grey-tinted waves wound their way through a glowing green wood lighted up with carbuncles. A singularly fresh, bracing coolness was exhaled by this splendid water. Not far off, there rolled slowly by a dull yellow stream that sent out an uncommonly sweet smell, on the banks of which sat all sorts of pretty little children, who were fishing for small, thick fish, and ate them as soon as they were caught. On coming nearer, Mary remarked that these fish looked like filberts. I think they're sweets. Some little way up the stream lay a very nice village. Houses, barns, church, parsonage, all dark brown, with smart gilded roofs, and many of the walls were coloured as if citron peel and almond kernels had been stuck in them. "That," said Nutcracker, "is gingerbreadum." which lies on Honeyburn. Some very pretty people live there, but they are mostly in low spirits because they suffer much from toothache. So we will keep away from it. Just then, Mary perceived another little town, which consisted of nothing but gaily tinted transparent houses and was most beautiful to look at. Nutcracker went straight towards it, and now Mary heard a wild, cheery din and saw how 1,000 small folk were in the act of examining and unloading many high-packed wagons, which stood in the marketplace. But what they took out of these wagons appeared to be nothing but brightly coloured papers and the silver coverings of chocolate sticks. "We are in Bonbons Town," said Nutcracker, "and there has just arrived a convoy sent from Paperland by the Chocolate King. The poor people of Bonbons Town have recently been seriously threatened. The poor people of Bonbons Town have recently been seriously threatened by the Fly Sultan's army, on which account they are covering their houses with the supplies from Paperland and throwing up fortifications of the strong materials which the Chocolate King sends them. But, dear Miss Stahlbaum, we will not visit all the small towns and villages of this country. On to the capital! To the capital!" Fabulous. Quickly hastened Nutcracker forward, and Mary after him, full of curiosity. Before long, a rich perfume of roses greeted them, and all the air seemed filled with strong waving rose tints. Mary saw that this was the reflection of a rose-red shining river, whose rosily silver ripples purled and prattled before her, as if keeping time and melody. On this lovely water, that gradually spread out into a lake, swam noble silver white swans, with golden bands around their neck, and sang the most beautiful songs against each other for a wager, to the tune of which little diamond fishes ducked up and down through the rosewater as if in a merry dance. "Gosh!" cried Mary, quite excited. "This is really the lake which Godfather Drosselmeyer once promised to make for me, and I myself am the girl who is to play with those darling swans." Nutcracker gave a scornful laugh, as she had never heard him do, and said, "A thing like this your godfather can never manufacture. Don't you trouble about that, however, but let us sail over the Rose Lake to the capital city on the other side." And that is where I finish for now. Now, the next chapter, chapter 13, the capital of Toyland. I'm so excited, I'm going to have a quick drink. The next chapter, chapter 13, Sue's going to read for you, and I think she might do it in 2 bits. But that's quite exciting. I mean, all this world, Toyland, it's been amazing. It's been full of sugar people and gingerbread houses and, glittery stuff. Sounds amazing. Very exciting. And I think very, very perfect for Patty's birthday. So let's just say that this chapter is for Patty's birthday. So happy birthday, Patty. And for everybody else, happy day. Happy days. So from me, Kate, and Nutcracker and the Mouse King, for now, ta-ra. But we will be back. Sue's going to do chapter 13, and then I shall do the conclusion for you. For now,